Okay, so hello everyone, let's begin. Welcome to the session Introduction to WebXR with Ashikul Yonet. Uh, Good morning everyone, and to good evening and good afternoon in whichever time zone you are. We have attendees joining here from various global locations. So hello everyone, in short, and thank you for showing such an hype and such an excitement for the event. So just before we begin, I would like to say just some few things that you all have the unmute option. So you can actually unmute and ask question, but not now. We have a Q&A section at the end where you can come up, and if you want to interact, if you want to share something, if you have any doubt any from the session. We expect doubts because this is a beginner session, so we obviously expect doubts that you might be having. So please feel free to come up and ask, but just stay muted up till the Q&A section. But you can switch on your video in the meantime if you want to. So it's up to you. But just let's help each other and make this event a great, successful event. And I don't think there's anything to mention. But one more thing that this event is being recorded. So it will be also be uploaded to DC Mesco channel. So if you miss any part of this, don't worry. We'll share the session. We'll share the link too. So in the meantime, and I don't think there's anything more to share. Let's just no hard and fast rules. Let's just begin. And yeah, hello everyone. My name is Faizan. I'm a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador from India, class of 2020 graduate, and I have been working in mixed reality for the past 1 year, and it's really amazing. So, and I also call myself a mixed reality tech evangelist. I with Tejas host many events, specifically in this domain. So uh, yeah, this was all about me. If you want to know more about me, if you want to connect to me, if you want to know what I am working, you can just go to faizanakhtar.com and look at my socials there. And I would like to introduce our next co-host of today, Tejas here. So can you please introduce yourself, Tejas?
Oh yeah, thank you, Faizan. That was a great introduction. And hello, everyone. I'm Tejas Warbude. It's an immense pleasure of mine to be today's host. I'm the country head of PRARMR Student Partner Program and a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. I wake up every day to help people become the best version of themselves so that they can make better decisions and together we can make a better world. And Ashgul, uh, would love to have your introduction. That's all from my side.
Hi. Great. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Am I too loud? Let's do the sound check
Right.
first.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Great. My name is Aisha Gül, and I work for Microsoft in mixed reality spatial computing. And I will talk to you about mixed reality today on the web. But you can ask me any other question for mixed reality development with Microsoft as well. And I'm joining from San Francisco. So let's get started.
Okay, so just before we begin, I would like to call up Gaurav Verma from DSC Mesco. He would like to share what exactly DSC Mesco is all about, as today's uh, event is powered by DSC Mesco. So, Gaurav, are you there?
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
morning, everyone. So DSMSCO, it's a university-based community group for students interested in developer technologies. We are powered by Google, and as a community, we help to bridge the gap between theory and practice through various seminars, code labs, study jams, hands-on workshops, etc. I hope in today's session on Introduction to WebXR and Mixed Reality, we create a spark in you to enjoy this field into its greater depths. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav, for such a great introduction. Just before I pass on to Aishikul, I would just like to brief you to the agenda that we are having here today. First of all, the welcome. So we all have welcomed you here. You all are welcome. Thank you for joining and thank you for showing such an excitement for the session. Then here on Aishikul will take over and she will explain about all of the things about WebXR. And if you feel any questions, as she mentioned, if you have any questions, you can ask it in the chat. It will be saved up till Q&A section, or if you feel to unmute and want to ask something to Ashik, you can do that, but in Q&A section, not now. Then based on whatever Ashik shares here, we'll be having a quiz here. So, and it's not just a quiz. the winner of the quiz will get an exciting prize. We'll share it at the end to the winner what the winner will get, and then we'll have the amazing Q&A section where you can come up and interact, share anything what you want to. And so that's the pretty much of agenda today. And I would like Aishagul to come up and if she wants to share a screen. So I'll just stop sharing. You're on mute, Aishagul.
Oh, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Oh, great.
Let's start then, Aishagul.
Okay. Let's talk about why we need WebXR and what is and how to get started with WebXR. Okay, and as I introduce myself, my name is Aishagul, and I work with spatial computing, which is mixed reality services that we have, and also AI, cognitive services on Azure. I'm also the co-chair of W3C Immersive Web Working Group and community group. I will tell you a little bit about it. And I'm a Google developer expert for web technologies. And you can find me on Twitter. So if you're not familiar, W3C is the organization World Wide Web that comes up with all of the web APIs and makes sure that they are secure and they're backward compatible and they're easy to use for developers. So our working group is working on specifically with WebXR device APIs, which includes WebXR Gamepads module and AR module, as well as a few others. We also have a community group, which is for incubation of the ideas. So we have things like the web layers, which is now, I think, community group, computer vision, anchors, lighting estimations, the things that we haven't started working yet, the community group starts working on them and experimenting on them. So we have a better idea. And everything we do is on GitHub. You can find us on github.com immersive web. And we have code samples and some tooling there. So why it is important? Why WebXR is important? Well, most of you are familiar, sounds like, with mixed reality. But if you're not, augmented reality allows you to add some information on top of the real world, like shown in these examples, in this example. Right now, we are locked in San Francisco. I don't know how you guys are doing. We are not able to go to many places. One of them is the museum, for example. And even if you go to a museum and you see some of the exhibitions of dinosaurs and things like that, you still don't know how they act, how they move, and it's just a stationary thing. But with augmented reality, you can bring all of that information into your environment. Like this could be an exhibition on your own backyard, basically. And you can compare things. This is my cat, and that's a virtual dog. And blend things into each other, which is really, really exciting. And what it does is it improves your rate of remembering things and your productivity, and the error rates goes down. One of the use cases is, for example, in a surgery room. This was before COVID, but still, if you're in a surgery room, you can't touch anywhere, you're contagious, but at the same time, there's just so much information about the patient that you need access to. And I have surgery on my shoulders and my nose in US, and till the moments you go under, like you don't hear or you can't move, people ask you, like, which side are we operating on? So that's a really scary experience because you don't know if they know which shoulder to cut to. They can cut both of your shoulders, although you don't need to. And that happens quite often. With augmented reality, especially with tools like HoloLens, now you have a way of interacting with that information without having to touch anything. And you have almost unlimited space for having that information around you as well. Along with the hand interactions, HoloLens has eye tracking as well, which allows you to, even when your hands are busy, you can create some interactions with where you could use only with your voice or with your eyes. And it's not limited to expensive devices like HoloLens. We have augmented reality and virtual reality for mobile devices, and they're getting more and more popular and cheaper. So almost everybody can have access to it. So this is an example of Google Maps API, which has an augmented reality option. And when you come out of a train station, for example, you do see the map in 2D, but it's not really easy to find out like which way is the street that you need to go to. And this particular app introduces like 3D arrows to your environment and tells you exactly which way you should be looking at, which is really cool. So it is a really nice thing. And why is it important that it's on the web? I want to tell you a little bit more about it. We were talking with Beza, and he said most people are more into Unity or Unreal development. Web is very important because it is free to start with. Plus, there is no limitation to entries. For example, if you create your application, you don't have to have it through Microsoft Store, Apple Store, or Google Play Store. You can just put it online, and then anyone can access to it. And one other thing that the stores does is they have rules, of course, but also they charge you money. For example, Apple and Google, I think they get 30% of your profits if you're making money. With web applications, you can just send it to the web and anyone can access to it, and you don't have to actually have that reduction of your benefits, basically. And I mean, you might say, well, this is okay. It is okay in some cases, of course. You might want to still do some native applications, but also recently, if you are aware, Unreal Engine, their own game was taken out of both Apple Store and Google Store, which means that millions and millions of dollars they lost, and they're going to court for it. WebXR is super exciting, and it's becoming easier and easier to build for as well. So one of the tools that I really like and I really enjoy is Babylon.js. There are other tools, of course, like Three.js is one, A-Frame is another one. And development cycle is much faster too. So I wanted to give you a little bit of basic information about how do you start creating a Babylon application. So Babylon is a 3D game engine, and what you do is to create a scene with a camera, with some lights, and and then create your scene and then attach everything. If you see the basic scene, pretty much nothing changes on a WebXR version, but very few things, which I'm going to go over. One of them is the camera. So you can create the same camera, but if you are working with a mobile headset, if you put the camera on somewhere and then look at the 0, 0 position, you would never see it, because as soon as you start your application, your 0, 0 position is always the headset itself, which is user itself. And the one thing that you have to make sure is that camera is in the very center. And then once you do that, you can set the targets to look any direction. But you should know that it will change. Whatever direction that you put your camera targets, doesn't really matter, because as soon as I put on my headset, I'll look around anywhere I want. And to make creating WebXR experiences very easy, Babylon.js have some helper functions. So these functionalities go over the parts about the ever-changing WebXR APIs that are being built. So the good part about it is if you're using these helpers, you don't actually have to go and try to figure out how the WebXR works yourself. So it makes most of the things very easy. To do that, you create this WebXR create default experience async function. This is one of the helper functions, and you give it few options. So what it does is it detects if you're, well, in this case, my UI options is session mode immersive AR, which means that it's going to be an AR experience. And this helper function also detects if AR is available on my device. And if it's not available, I will know and do something else. And the other thing that is important here, the reference space type is equal to local floor, which means that it's going to be an experience where I'm standing up and moving around a little bit. There are other options for unlimited floor, you would say, like I can be walking around in the house and the experience might be still going, or I can be stationary. So reference space type is where you define how you want your experience area to be. And in this case, I'm also giving some optional features to be true, which means that things that are not completely implemented maybe or experimental features are turned on. And you can read more about it on Babylon.js documentation. Another way to create the WebXR experience is by using the basic experience helper, which is a little not super clear from the name, but default experience makes things much easier and have the default settings for everything. Basic experience helper is being used by default experience helper to create everything from scratch, basically. If you prefer to use the basic experience helper, that means that you have a little bit more flexibility on your choice. You don't have to go with the default choices, but that also means that you have to do the work and you have to remember to set things. So I would definitely recommend using the default experience helper if that's your first time. So what is the difference other than you have to make sure that you set up everything? One advantage that you get from it is that you can have the state change as an observable, which means that instead of using a promise, you can have an observable data type. And if you are familiar with RxJS or want to use a library like that, it's a kind of different mindset, but you can react to things live differently with an observable. Not going to go in there, but they're very interesting if you want to check it out. So I mentioned we set the session with immersive AR, and you can set it as immersive VR. You can even set it as inline, which means that it will be a regular 3D experience, but on the web. So it won't be an immersive experience, but we still have that session mode option, because when the user doesn't have the device, you still want to be able to show them what the experience is a little bit, maybe give an option to interact with it with their mouse or with their hands if it's on a mobile device. And this is a very good way of building most of your applications, because it's really not a pleasant thing if you don't have access to the device and you can't even see what the experience is all about. And lastly, we have the feature manager with WebXR-C, which means that we can add and subtract any of the features even while we are in the experience. So some of the features at the moment is the physics control, plane detection, which means that I can detect that I have a surface and put things on top of it. XR hit test, which means that I can check if when I'm interacting with something, if I would know if I'm hitting any object. And finally, the anchor system. Anchor system, it means that it's almost like anchoring any information. You can define these points, which are anchors, and then say, I want this information to be here at all times. It could be your wall, it could be a table, and then that information will persist there over time. But currently, the anchors are not persisting like the cloud anchors you might be familiar with from Google or Azure cloud anchors, which means that once your session is over, we don't have access to that information anymore. So it will be stable while you are experiencing that particular experience that time, but then it won't be there next time you open up your application. But hopefully in the future, we will merge all of these things and you'll be able to share the anchor system as well, just like the cloud anchors. Feature Manager allows you to add some of the features, but also it gives you the option to add which version of the feature. For example, here I mentioned WebXR plane detector name, and then I choose the latest one. So I can say, when I say latest, it will go ahead and get the most recent, but sometimes you might not want to do that. Sometimes you might want to stick with a version of it, so it allows you to be able to do that. So in this line 90, we have the base experience session manager and on XR session init, which is the beginning of our session. We are adding the experience helper, and then now we have access to the experience helper. And in this case, I'm just console logging it, but you could do anything else that you need to do. We talked about this, and here also I mentioned that it is much easier the development cycle is much faster. If you ever done any HoloLens development or other Windows mixed reality development, you have to create your application for HoloLens, for example, and in Unity, and then build it and then open it in Visual Studio, and then deploy it to HoloLens, which is a really long time. And every time you change something, you have to do that, which takes, immense amount of time. I have this example on my slides. I'll share the link to, which has a local server, which has a script, which you can just run the start script, and then you open it in your browser, and as soon as you do that, you connect it to your device, and you're able to actually see the changes and play with it, change things as well. The way to do it is through the Chrome developer tools. And if you are not familiar, I think it's Control-Shift-I to open it. And then once you open it up on the developer tools, you have the hamburger menu, and you can go to more tools and remote devices. Which used to be there, but now it's a new tab, which you have to click. It gives you an option to run the thing that I'm running on my local environment in my device, actually. So as soon as I open it up, I can see all of the devices that I can debug. So I have a Home, Nest, and then Pixel 4. And to be able to do this, actually, you have to do the port forwarding as well before being able to forward or open up a URL. For forwarding, I thought it was in this video, but you click on the port forwarding and then you put on your localhost and the port on there, which is localhost 880 in this case. Well, I think I'm doing it, yes. This is kind of a little bit tricky if you haven't done it. You have the port in two places, just make sure that you're doing that. And once I do that, I can just open it. I can put in the URL even on my Chrome, and then it will open up on my device, which is my Android device in this case. And as you can see, since this is an immersive experience, something that wasn't available on my browser is available on here. Let's see. Which is the immersive button. So remember, we talked about the experience helper. One thing it does is that it gives you this option. When we are doing WebXR experiences, we have to make sure that we have the consent of the user before we go into the immersive version of the experience. So it does it automatically, it gives you that option, and then if the immersive experience that you built for AR or VR is available, then you do see that button. Okay. And let's see, are we going to see the end of it? Okay. So sorry, these are a little bit annoying. And once you click on that button, then you will be able to just look around and see your object and interact with it in your phone and see the result on your browser as well. So these are all cool things, but more things are coming. Actually, next week, there's a new version of Babylon.js, which will have hand interaction, which we didn't have before. Teleportation is the way you move from one location to the other one on WebXR without having to actually go in the physical space. It existed on Babylon.js, but it has some improvements. Lighting estimation allows you to make sure your objects are looking a little bit more realistic and blend into your environment in augmented reality experiences. And there's great improvements there, and also more tooling. There's a node-based editor for material, for skeleton, and which is for animation, and also physics. So it's really exciting. It's coming on the 12th. But what is not there on the web yet? Anchors, as I mentioned before. We have object anchors and Azure Cloud Anchors available for native developers, but we don't have that option yet for web, but it will come in the future. And this is one of the experiences that use spatial anchors, and then you can put relative information in front of the user, and you can do things that normally you wouldn't be able to do. Being able to talk to someone and see what they're doing, this is also possible with WebXR using WebRTC, which is the technology that you share the videos. And one last thing that's not there is eye tracking. We have to use the head tracking for interactions with headsets, but we can't use the eye tracking, which allows me to select things without even having to move my head. And other things that are part of an augmented reality experience is computer vision, for example, being able to detect people or objects, or in this case, reading text from handwriting, for example. These could all be part of the future WebXR APIs, but currently you can do that using some of the services that we have in Azure, like cognitive services. And in the slide, in the example code that I have, you do have access to these examples as well. Finally, I would like to answer your questions, but there are so many demos, so many resources out that we have for you, and here's a small list. One of them is a LearnXR subreddit. I have 3 YouTube channels that you can learn more about WebXR, XR development in general, or Babylon.js, and tons of resources. This one, especially the mixed reality resources, this is not only the tools, but also, for example, where to find the models, 3D models. What are some of the examples of museum experiences, for example? You can find all of that and more there. And these are links slides, and you can find me anywhere, and I'm ready to answer your questions. I think after the quiz, right?
Yeah. We'll just have a short quiz before we proceed. Thank you so much, Aishagul, for sharing all of these things. Those were really amazing. And just to mention that usually XR development XR was related to only through Unity or Unreal Engine, but then it's not that web developers should also get said that what should we do, like, so you all also have the option of doing it through WebXR. So you can actually do now do through browser also through XR development. So it's really great that now web developers can also do that, because it's a JavaScript framework, Babylon.js, and JavaScript is like everyone knows, any web developer knows, and it's really interesting. And just before we move on, and we have some time here, and just before we take the questions, I would just like to ask you, Ashigul, to share some insights of your journey. Like, you're also a Google developer expert, and now working as a senior developer advocate at Microsoft, and all, like, any insights from your journey, because your journey is really amazing, and that was one of the reason why I wanted to host the session with you. So it would be really great if you can share that.
Oh, sure. Thank you for asking. I'm trying to share this slide again, but I'm not able to. So I can actually paste the slide to me. Let's
Sure.
see.
Yeah, that will be great.
Yeah, that
Okay.
will do.
All right. And you can find the resources at the last slide, the one before last. So I actually have a journey that is not very straightforward or conventional. I studied graphic design, and I start doing animations like 3D visualizations and things like that for scientific research, and which was great. But then afterwards, I was interested in being a developer, and I changed my subject. I took some university classes, and I did a boot camp, and then I started working in San Francisco, which was really, really exciting. And when I was doing animations, I was using Autodesk 3D visualization tools like Maya and 3ds Max, and then I started working there as a software engineer, which was really exciting for me. And now at Microsoft.
Yeah, that's
That is
really
great.
amazing. Like, really different from the conventional journey which all people have. So that's why you're such a great personality. So
Thank you.
Yeah, and I guess there will be some more time for the quiz, and I would like this event was also powered by VR AR MR community, and Tejas is representing VR AR MR community. So Tejas, can you just tell us more about the community and the role you represent there?
Yeah, yeah, please,
Sorry,
Ashwin.
Ashik. If you want
No,
to say
go
something.
ahead.
No,
I
you
thought
was.
you were asking me.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, VRMR community is for all the XR enthusiasts who want to spread the awareness and some kind of training in India, especially in India, but we are a global community, and I am representing India here. And what we do is we train people all from villages also, or from schools, and we give training so that we can, India always get behind in most of the technology. So we don't want it with XR, and that's why we are having this community so that we can help more and more people to get into XR. And so tomorrow, India can be have its domain and can work more on it and help people around us. And so we are also going to have VRARMR student partner program soon. And obviously you are all students, I think. So would love to have you there. And also there is a meetup group for VRARMR. You can join for future sessions, as well as our socials. You can connect to Faizan, Ashkul, and me over there. I'm pasting it in the chat. You can We are always available for your help. Would love to have any doubts for us if there is anything we can do to help.
Yeah, like that's really great. You can you can use any of the social links, connect to any one of us, and we would all like to connect to you all and share and help you in everything, whichever you want to. So feel free to ask. And networking is one of the essential thing that you should do with learning, because learning is also one thing, and networking, making connections, and having another view to that learning stuff is another thing. So that's really good. So just connect to us. Feel free to share anything which you want to, and just we have some more time. Sorry, Aishika, I'm asking you many questions. I have one more question for you. What is like XR is really another thing which through which we can develop unimaginable things. Like it really gives another dimension to what all exists here. So what's the one thing that you would like to develop using XR, any of the XR fields? What's the one thing?
That's so funny. I asked that question to everybody, and you asked me. I actually have a long list of things that I want to create, but one of the things that I'm actually working on is a tool for accessibility. One of our co-workers, who is blind himself, created this application which works on iOS devices, which allows you to see around, define these scenarios around you, what is happening, and then maybe just point your phone to a piece of menu, for example, when you're in a restaurant, and it reads out the menu for you, and it does all these things. And it's really cool. And it's the most popular app for blind people in US, maybe in the world, but it doesn't have an Android version. And I think that version would be very helpful. So that's something that I'm working on. But there's just so much. There's a lot of educational things that you, for example, if you want to learn a new language, spatial memorization is very strong. If you ever heard about the memory championships, those people who compete in them, they prepare by imagining things in space, in different space. For example, they would walk through their house and put one information everywhere. And then once they walk in their minds, they would remember exactly that information. So this way they're able to remember like the cards in like a few minutes. So if we can do the same thing, if we can put all of the information about a new language, what it means in another language in the space, it will be much easier for people to learn. So I think, yes, memory palaces. That's
Even
a very old technique.
Alex Kipman shared about HoloLens that people using HoloLens have 98% retention on whatever they are learning, and that is great number. Like before that it was around 40 and 50 for the champions, and now it's like 98 and for average person not with a good memory, and that is such a great thing.
Yeah.
And we can see a lot from such XR devices in future. I think our future generation are going to be a lot more smarter than us.
That's true. That happens all the time, though.
Yeah.
I mean, and also like learning about, for example, bodies, right? Like in medical school in the US, every medical student has its own corpse, which they have to cut and see and try to find out. But with a 3D model, then everybody has it right in front of them, and it increases their learning, which is really, really cool. So I should ask you guys, what are your apps that you guys want to build? Faizan, do you have any?
Okay, yeah. Was that a question? I thought that it's to that in niche. Okay, what one thing that I would like to build is something really in educational domain. So it's like I really wanted to during in my 11th and 12th grade when I was doing a practical at my chemistry lab. So there was the thing that you should not perform any practicals or do any practicals which have the flame thing and concentrated hydrochloric acid thing. So you should not perform any of these practicals under anyone's supervision. So it was like we had to wait for someone to come, and then under the guidance of him or her we had to do. So it was like really boring. So I just wanted to, so my aim is like to build a complete virtual reality, or you can say mixed reality application in the domain of chemistry, to be more specific. So where you can perform virtual practicals, and there you won't have any restrictions. Like you can burn the flame at any temperature you want. You can just use any chemicals. You can mix any chemicals which you want. Though the effect won't be that realistic, but I would guess that in the upcoming time it's an exponential technology, and the view and the feel would be realistic than it's as of now. So yeah, that's one of the dream project you can say that I have.
That would be really fun, and you can explode things too, which you can't do in real life, which would be fun to do.
It also reduces the risk of like mixing any two different chemicals and just to see what happens. We'll usually do that to see what happens when we mix two different chemicals. So and that's one of the things. That's one of the reason that I wanted to do this project. So I also started this through my final year project. So but I was lucky enough, I would say, that fortunately or unfortunately, that our prototype was sufficient enough to get submitted as a project. So we just did, like, you can just have a 2D image of the compound and a molecular compound in organic chemistry, and you will get the 3D model of that molecule. So I know, like, chemistry is, and one of the most important reason I would say for this project was, like, organic chemistry is really boring for many people out there, many students out there, many teachers out there. Let it be like any experienced teacher. So it's one of the boring topics, I can say. So, but I wanted to make it more interesting, because if we know technology, then it's our, you can say, a responsibility to make things interesting, which all of us are doing. So I thought that it would be great doing that.
I'm guessing you have seen the periodic table application on HoloLens, but if you guys haven't seen it, I just pasted it. It is really much more interesting. You can spend much longer time looking at the periodic table.
Yeah, it's like one of the default application that comes in HoloLens 1. So, like, I was fortunate enough to have HoloLens 1 at my college. So it was really great, like, trying out HoloLens periodic table. Then there's also another very great example that I liked was HoloTour. Like, there are two places in that HoloTour. One is Rome, and the other one, I guess, it's somewhere in Europe only. I forgot those two places, but those are really great. Like, you can actually experience without actually going to that place. You can actually experience how that place would look like, how like what would you experience when you would actually be there. So it was really great. And so yeah, like Tej, do you have any dream project of yours? I guess you had something related to book. So like to share.
Yeah, as I shared, my purpose, and my purpose is to, I woke up every day to help people to make better decisions so that together we can make a better world. And I think what we are lagging into today's world, as we are seeing so much crimes, like so much rubbish thing happening all around, like say to rapes and people fighting for black and white and all those things, like they are more like a common sense that they should not be discriminated or they should not have happened. And I think I blame those on the environment, like say parents, teachers, and all the society, that we are seeing such things in today's world. So I want to create a company where we a product. I don't know. There is. I don't have a particular solution in my mind, but yeah, I have a. I've this problem which really pisses me off. So I want to do something with XR. I think with the such a great retention rate, I think if we start of spreading awareness and we start teaching parents what to teach kids, that's what we are lacking in. The parents don't know what to teach kids, and the also teachers don't know how to teach, and those two things are never taught in today's 21st century, which is in 2020. That's a real fear, really weird. And people, such people who want to learn all from books and YouTube, but such knowledge which is quite essential, like we are told to uh, to focus on our study but never told how to focus, and that's a really basic thing. And I think if we um, solve those fundamental thing of learning thinking, like people, if start people start thinking and people start learning on their own and have purpose and meaning in their life and share their passion, and so I think the world would be a better place. And I think XR can help a lot by this. So I don't have a particular application, particular solution which I want to put, but yeah, there is a problem and I want to solve, and I'm researching on that a bit. I've started a few weeks ago. Like I'm researching on decision making and how can we solve with XR and all.
Yeah, it's like
That's
it's
a
not. Yeah,
great
yeah,
idea.
I sure.
That's a great idea, and
Mhm.
there are some apps and research on it already. One of them is for increasing people's empathy, right? For example, one of the applications were for refugee camps. You see the environment, you see the people, and you feel like you are there because, especially in US, everything is so far away, and it's hard to care. Um, one of the hackathon projects that some of the kids worked last year for HoloLens, they created this application where you actually are surrounded with your own trash. I mean, the problem with trash and not recycling, it just goes somewhere and we don't know about it. And like how many plastic bottles, like if I was keeping it in the house, would I actually use it? No, because I need this space. So it surrounds you with that, which was very interesting. Yeah, and I worked with human trafficking survivors, and I think from India, a VR application by a human trafficking survivor. She did it herself to explain her experience, how it was from her point of view. I think it was called something like it had something to do with her father, but don't remember the name. Check those out. And in terms of focus, one of the cool XR experiences, which is also on the web, is Kai XR, and it's with Google Cardboard, which is much cheaper than any other headset.
Yeah,
So that's exciting.
that's great.
Yeah, that's great. Really great. Yeah, that's I guess I've heard about kayaks, and it's really like uh, good for starters, and especially in India where like price is really a big reason for immersive headsets. So I guess it's really great thing to start with. Yeah, anything you were saying, Tejas?
Uh, I think we can have Q&A and
Yeah.
then we
No,
can
yeah.
have our quiz.
Actually, I got the confirmation from team that we can start the quiz. So let's ask Aishugul to rest for some time because she has been speaking for a long time, like almost 55 minutes. So in the meantime, let's just have a quiz and let her rest so that she can come back for the Q&A and have an interactive talk with all of you.
Ooh, good luck, everyone. Win the prize.
Yeah. And I'll invite Gaurav to share his screen because he will be sharing more about how to join to the quiz and all of those details. Yes,
Okay,
Gaurav.
yeah, thank you, Faizan. So, can you see my screen?
Uh, yes, I can see your screen.
So over here you can see it's a Kahoot quiz. So you can see the game pin. It's 8487310. And just go to kahoot.it and enter this pin and enter the game room.
Make
So
sure you use your original name. Don't use
yes,
another different name, please.
yes, please make sure you use your own name so it will help us while distribution of the prize.
Yeah, so yeah, we are waiting. We can't wait to see who wins this quiz. And uh, should I announce a prize or let's just wait the quiz to end?
Exactly.
I
Snoopy
think
Cat,
wait.
if you can change your name to your real name, that would be great.
Yeah, please try to join with your original name because that would make this look more better. And yeah, if you are the winner, then we won't give it to a Snoopy cat or someone. We'll give it to someone who has its original name there. So yeah,
And
21 people
price
still
can be a
join.
big one.
29, 30. Come on, we have around 90 attendees in this call, so you're only having 34 people joining. Yeah, 37.
Yeah.
Alto Epic News is here. When you change your name, Epic Newt 12. Apple Chan, Priyanka Desai. You have 51
Lucky,
participants.
Lucky Vaishniti. You can also change your name. Yeah, it's a time for fun.
Uh,
Yes. We have also fun music available with us, but it's irritating after a point, so we won't use it.
Banana Chan.
Deekshita, try joining through an incognito browser because that won't carry on your previous name. I guess there might be previous name which you have used.
Yeah, I think. And you don't have to log in there, so it's cool. You can join from incognito.
Yeah, we hardly have 68 people still joined. Where are others?
Yep. Funny LBEX Delight Spings 95. If you could change your name. The quiz is very easy. It has some basic questions, some fun questions, and some questions related to the seminar.
Deekshita, what's the nickname is generating? I guess it might be. Try clearing the cache once. We'll wait. We won't start without you joining it. So try clearing the cache and rejoin. And if it doesn't work, then let us know.
I think Dikshita, you can tell our your nickname here if it's not so much.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
that.
it must be something common, so you can share your nickname and we will share the prize with you if you want to. Okay, given hand 61. Yep. I think we can start as
Okay, if
Okay.
you're ready,
others
just put yes in the chats.
others will be just a DSC club, I think.
Hmm. It was 81. Yeah.
98
Possible.
people. Oh, oh, oh.
Yes. 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 Yes.
If we have good amount of yeses, then we are ready to go.
Yeah. Mystery Rabbit 37.
Okay, last 5, 4,
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, we'll
Let's
Let's
start.
go.
start.
Let's go. Extra. Yeah.
Yeah,
First. It is a immediate environment which creates a sensation.
it is a mediated environment which creates the sensation in a user of being present in a physical surrounding. Options are www, VR, HMD, GUI. We have 49 answers.
That's right. 39 of you answer correctly. The answer is VR, and let's see the point table who's leading. And we have Karan leading, Shabir coming in second, Zulfa third, Varun third, and Akshit at the fourth or fifth. Sorry, yeah, fifth
Fifth.
place. Yeah. So next question.
If your question is like if you answered the correct answer, but still you are not in top 4, the thing is that it also records your time. So let's try to answer fast.
A type of VR environment in which subjects are visually isolated from the real environment. Options are immersive, semi-immersive, non-immersive, augmented.
It's right. 28 of you were right. The answer is immersive. And let's see the leaderboard right now. And we have Zulfa leading the
Zulfa.
leaderboard. Shabir coming in second, Saurabh Bagh at third, Kinjal at fourth, and Mihir at fifth position.
And
Okay,
Sakshi is the highest climber
right.
from
That's great.
25 places.
So next question. I think so everyone would know about this.
Pokemon Go. Yeah, Pokemon Go is an example of.
It's a YouTube channel, guys. It's right. It's an augmented reality game. Yeah.
Sorry, few people are saying they are not able to see the questions.
Okay. You've shared it.
Can you try rejoining all of those 3 who can't see the questions? And it's not necessary to view the questions here. You can also view the questions on your device from whichever device you have joined. Questions will also be displayed there. So I
Only
guess.
the options are not visible there, I think. They have colors only, but you can see the questions.
Okay.
No, actually, the question is also not visible.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah,
so
question is also visible.
Okay, let us just check.
It happened in the first question. The question was not there.
The question is in the meeting right now. If you can see I've shared a screen in the meeting, and the question is over here, and you have 4 options in the chat, in the Kahoot quiz, and then you can see.
Or we'll just read out the questions, and so that if you are viewing on the same device and if you have trouble switching windows, so we'll just read out the question and options too, so that you can choose options accordingly. Works?
or you can rejoin, that will be great because most of us can see the screen.
Yeah, might be a network issue at
Might
your
be
end.
Okay. Let's see the leaderboard. Who's up in the leaderboard? Zulfa is still low. Mihir is leading right now. We have uh, and and okay,
Anisha, Sriram,
Shiram,
Manisha,
Mishra,
Arisha.
and Arisha. Okay, shall we go to the next question?
Let's just have a confirmation from all those
Okay.
three. Almas, Aarti, Rishikesh. Just type in the chat if we should proceed to the next question. We'll read out the question as well as the options. So like if you have trouble switching the windows.
I think Faizan, you have the questions. Can you share the questions? Then it will be easy to read out the options. Can you paste the questions here if you can
Yeah, but
in
it
the
won't
chat?
be really like the time thing which Kahoot has because some people might see it
Yeah.
here. Yeah. So yeah, you can also use another device to enter the quiz. Oh yeah.
I don't think
Yes.
you can enter now. The time is up. We have started the queues.
Okay. No problem.
Should we
Uh,
proceed? All of those three, Almas, Aarti, Rishikesh, anyone from you? Type a yes in chat or just a thumbs up.
Uh, I think we should continue anyways.
okay.
Yeah, there's a yes from them. I guess we can start.
Okay. Let's continue.
Okay, let's continue. Oh yeah,
Just read
me
out the
only
question and
colors are visible.
yeah. So just read out the questions and options. Tejas.
Yeah.
Next question. What are AR hardware sets? Option A is Microsoft HoloLens. Option B, Google Glasses. Option 3, Magic Leap. Option 4, all of the above. Okay, 52 of you got it right. The answer is all of the above. Let's see what's the leaderboard like. Okay, Mihir is still leading. That's awesome. Let's move to the next question. Okay, this is an interesting question.
What does X stand for in WebXR? Options are experience, extended reality, what you want it to be, or cross reality.
Yeah, the right answer is what you want it to be. It's like X in algebra. So whatever you want it to be, the WebXR stands for that. I just read your documentation, so just to be confirmed, and yeah, it's the right answer. So let's see how the leaderboard is affected.
This is a trick question.
Yes, it's a trick question. Mihir is leading, and Vinay has climbed up the leaderboard. Let's move to the next question. What is the shortcut key to open inspector window?
Options are Control Shift I, Alt plus I, and Control plus I, and last one Shift plus I. And that's quite.
Yes, Control Shift plus I. Okay, we have a climb in the leader.
Mihir.
Mihir is still leading. Mihir heading strong.
Sakshi has climbed the highest, 19 places. That's it.
What's the next week? What is the new improvement in Babylon JS?
The question is next week, what is the new improvement in Babylon JS? Options are hand interaction, foot interaction, eye interaction, and none. If you were present in the session, you would know.
The answer is hand interaction. And let's see what's the leaderboard like. Oh, Shabir has climbed up. Vinay has a streak with 5 correct answers. That's really awesome, Vinay. And Mihir is still leading with 9119 points. That's great. Yeah, we'll move to the final 2 questions. Okay.
Which popular Netflix show also put AR on the mainstream map? Which one particularly spooky episode featuring AR in gaming? That's right, Netflix thing, and the options are House of Cards, Black Mirror, Master of None, Sense 8.
Yep, 38 of your answer. It was Black Mirror. I guess it's the 4th season's first episode, USS Callister. I hope everyone watches. It's an amazing episode of Black Mirror. So we have. Okay, Shabir is in 3rd position. Akshit has reached the 4th position, and we have 2 more questions to go.
Mihir is on top. I think Mihir studies and watch Netflix also. Great guy, Mihir. Okay, next question is Babylon supports native development for desktop. Options are true or false.
Oh, that's right, 64. True. And we'll see the leaderboard. Okay, Shabir is still leading, but Shabir is climbing. This is the last question. All the best to everyone. And yeah, let's go.
Can the person see 000 in AR experience? 000 as the origin. Options are no, they cannot because the person is origin. Yes, the first thing they see. And option C, yes, at the bottom of the screen.
44% of you answered it right. Yes, they cannot see the origin because the person is the origin. And yeah. And let's see who wins.
11,607.
Okay.
Akshit is third, Shabir is second, and I think the first is one and only Mihir Pantnis. Yeah. Runner-up are Manisha and Anil Shah. So congrats, 5 of you. You did really great. And I think we all have fun. So congratulations to all of you who participated. That was really great.
Congratulations, Mihir. And
Congratulations, everyone. Yeah.
I think Faizan can disclose the prize.
Yeah, before I disclose, thank you everyone, each and everyone, those who participated in the quiz. That quiz was really fun, and apologies if anyone had issues or troubles viewing the questions. Yeah, that we can work on that, and we'll hope that. And this is not the only quiz or only event that we are having. We regularly keep having events, so make sure to join us in the other events, so you can participate in these amazing quiz. And now it's the time to disclose the prize. Okay, so Mihir, you get 1 year subscription of premium JetBrains, and so you'll get the key, and we'll email you the thing. So just drop in your email ID so that we can contact you. So you get 1 year subscription of JetBrains Premium, which will be valid for 1 year. Congratulations, Mihir.
From DSC Mexico. So a great thank you for the team. And now I think we can move on to question and answers. And here you can put your email address here. And
yeah, just drop your email ID in the chat so that we can contact you accordingly. And yes, JetBrains PM key. So it includes all of those editors, which lovely editors like PyCharm, Then there's one for WebStorm for web development. So you can do development of WebXR through that. So yeah, that's really great. So yeah, thank you, Mir, for doing that. Yeah, PyCharm is love. Yeah, for Python lovers. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so as we are done with the quiz and according to the agenda, let's move on to the Q&A section, all favorite section. So here, just let me tell you that if you have any questions, type it in the chat. If you want to unmute yourself, you can raise your hand and then unmute, not directly unmute. So it will just create a lot of chaos. So type it in the chat, which whatever you want to share. If you have any doubt, let it be any silly doubt. No one will say you anything if you ask anything here. So ask anything. Let me just slide up and check if there are any questions. So someone asked that. Someone asked, what is the language used for WebXR?
Congratulations, everyone. The game was so fun, actually. I will use that tool. The language for WebXR, web's language in general, is JavaScript. That doesn't mean that you can't build with anything else. There's actually a WebXR converter for Unity as well. So you can create things in Unity and then transfer it. There's the assembly language that you could use, but web's language is always and will be JavaScript. Specifically, Babylon.js is using TypeScript, which is gives some type definitions on top of JavaScript. So it's basically JavaScript.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, TypeScript. Yeah, it's also used in Angular too, I guess. TypeScript, yes, from Angular 6.
Mm-hmm. And many other things that you can use TypeScript. So basically, on top of any library too, you can start using TypeScript. It just kind of makes it a little bit more magical, a little bit more easier to develop for. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really great. As of now, I don't see any questions. Yeah, feel free to ask your questions. In the meantime, I will ask a question which all of you might like. Aishul, can you just give us some insights on the combination of two different domains, artificial intelligence and augmented reality? Because I recently saw one of your projects. You just did something related to image recognition of all the headsets you have at your back,
yes,
and the handles. So yeah, just I was curious that combining different two domains, like insights of yours.
Thank you. I actually wrote the article, but I didn't share it with anybody yet. So it's here if you want to read it. And what I did was using computer vision, custom vision specifically, to train my data to detect different headsets, HoloLens and VR headsets and controllers. The reason I did that was because I was looking through my Google Photos. Google Photos, and I think Apple does that too. It gives you an option to search for things. Like if you say bike, it will search for bike, or if you say teapot, it will bring all of those pictures with the teapot. But when I search for HoloLens or like headsets, nothing came out. And I have lots of pictures of HoloLens and VR headsets, so I decided to see if I can train it. So, and I wrote that article. And how are they related? They're very much related. Everything that we do for augmented reality is basically some kind of computer vision, because we are looking at your environments. Well, there's sensors, depth sensors, of course, that's very important technology. But also we are looking at your environments for spatial anchors, for example, and then defining the surfaces and the corners. And we kind of have a map of it, and these are all computer vision. And throughout any mixed reality application for HoloLens, other cognitive services are very important, like text to speech, speech to text, so you can have audio interaction with the application, right? You could just say things, or you can create an application where a language is translated right in front of your eyes. So there are so many mixed use cases. Does that answer your question?
We have a question from Omkar
Yes,
and
definitely.
Sriram. What is an AR book, and is it possible to do a body measurement through AR?
AR book?
Yeah, he's asking about what is AR book. I don't know also.
Yeah, Omkar, would you explain what do you mean? I'm not sure which book that is. Body measurements through AR. Yes, it is possible. So basically, everything that we have with Kinect developer kit, I have one here. This is a camera, which has the same camera on HoloLens, basically sensing the depth, and it has skeleton detection. So basically, when I move, it knows how I'm moving. But if you are thinking about something like I am measuring like my clothes size or something like that, those things are really hard, especially very organic things. Measuring it very precisely is very hard. But non-organic stuff like tables and things like that, they to be able to measure their width and height and all of those things are much easier.
Yeah, just to
I
add
think-
for measurements, like Power Apps also has one of the cool features like to measure anything like this, a feature measurement in mixed reality, measure in mixed reality. So like if you want to explore, you can explore it in Power Apps also.
Yeah.
And about the question of AR book, like just add in some more details, like where did you hear that or where did you see, like related in relation to what? So like actually it's a different term. I even like none of us know that terminology here exactly. So just to mention, and I guess we have more questions here. So Mihir asks, currently many technologies have hardware limitations like specific compute power or hardware related restrictions. Can we reduce this gap to very less so that we can get experience of that or close to that with current hardware as per any? So yeah, it's basically he is basically asking how to reduce hardware limitations or how to eliminate hardware limitations while development in XR.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. So basically, I'm going to say use WebXR. And there's a tool from Mozilla which is called WebXR Device Emulator. So, for example, by limitations, if you mean not having the device, you can use the WebXR emulator extension on Chrome or Mozilla or Edge. And then what you can do is act as if you're in a VR environment. So you can turn the headset and without having to have any headset. The other cool thing is, I think, if your phone has the capability, then your phone is a good option. But for HoloLens itself, we do have an emulator that you can download and just use that instead of having to have the actual device. Today, we had a meeting with WebXR W3C, and we were talking about it. It would be really, really nice if we can add all of the devices, right? Like the Oculus, HoloLens, and Magic Leap, all of them in one place, and we can test it. So hopefully we'll have something like that in the future. Was that the limitation that you were talking about, or is it the? I think you mentioned compute power too. In terms of compute power, yeah. In terms of compute power, was few things that you could do. One of them is use services like remote rendering, which these devices have limited capacity to render very big scenes, for example, architectural scene or something very detailed. But with a service like remote rendering, you can actually render the thing in the cloud and then use it on your device, which is a much smoother experience. That's one thing. The other things that you could do is you could use some edge devices, IoT devices. One of them is the NVIDIA, where you can compute things like AI in the IoT device and then share the information in the same network with a HoloLens or like any other device, basically, which is also a good option. I have a video for it too. I'll share it here.
Sure. And Azure remote rendering, like using through, I guess it supports millions of triangles that can be rendered at a time. So like it's basically on the tier you choose, I guess. It will support that many polygons. Okay, moving on to the next question. How do you suggest a total beginner of WebXR to start with this domain? So I guess you are creating those tutorials, so that would be the best place to start, but I'd like you to answer that.
For WebXR,
Yeah.
so we do have a lot of things. So one of them is Babylon.js has the playground, and they have these code samples that you can actually start playing with online, which you don't have to do anything, which is really, really cool. Let me see if I can find an example. So Playground is one place that you can start playing with Babylon.js. And there are many, many interesting, this is the most lame one, but there's so many interesting examples. And they do have a searchable example thing as well. That's a good place to start. I will be teaching a all-day course in December 2nd for front-end masters. So let me share it with you. This is a paid thing, but you can actually get a 30-day 30-day for free, and then you can join that day, which will be a Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm not sure if the time will work with you. And then afterwards, they edit the course, and then you can watch it there afterwards too. Let me find.
Yeah.
And it's a great resource for all of the web stuff. So I'm pasting that here. And immersiveweb.dev, we have some examples, some tools. You can find all of a lot of information there, and also WebXR channel, right? Let me know what kind of tutorials you want and what you want to learn, and I'm happy to do create those tutorials.
Yeah, make sure to reach out to Ashikul and tell what all you would expect in a tutorial that she'll be happy to see all of you DMing her.
You can follow
I mean,
her on Twitter.
Yeah. And you can subscribe to the YouTube channel too, and just put it on the comments. And if you have a question, or like if there's something that you want to do and want to learn, because I'm always looking for new tutorial ideas, and I do them. And if there's someone who's asking for it, I feel more motivated to do it.
Yeah, and she I have seen she regularly keep hosting some streams there, having a chat with someone from Microsoft, specifically in mixed reality domain or XR domain. So
yes.
Yeah, so feel free to subscribe. Make sure to subscribe her channel so that you get those videos and notification of those videos, and you can actually go. And those are really insightful, because those are really great folks working at Microsoft and in this technology, so they'll have an insight over this.
Yeah. Vern says Babylon.js 0 to Hero. That's the course I'm going to teach actually, and I want to keep creating these smaller size videos. And also let me know what helps you to learn, because sometimes, because it takes a long time ago when I learned, right? Then you forget how you learned, and it's sometimes hard for a person who's teaching to be a better teacher. So I please let me know how you learn, what are the videos that you like, what kind of stories you like. And you can comment on the videos or LearnXR channel too on Reddit. As you can see, that's my life back there. Yeah, so if you join and if you ask any questions, I am on there all the time.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. So make sure to comment on the video so that she will know what all you are expecting. And moving on to the next question. Next question is from Vaibhav. He's asking that Pivot Head Smart Glasses was designed by Microsoft using AI for blind person. And as Aishugul ma'am said, her project is for blind person. I want to know how WebXR is going to help in this project. And
You mean
Pivot Head Smart Glasses.
You mean the project that I mentioned? It's called Seeing AI. Is that what you mentioned?
Okay, he's basically asking for how using WebXR we can develop for the application Pivoted Smart Classes.
So basically, for HoloLens or any other smart glasses, you can add the extra information, augmented information on top of it, right? And you can plus use things like custom vision services, like the one in the code example, where when people are looking at something, you can take a picture and then define what's in there too. Things like that are very useful. And once we have anchors, I think anchors are going to be very useful because, for example, you can add spatial audio to a particular place. Let's say for a blind person, I want to describe, hey, go get out of this room, turn left, and go do this thing in the kitchen, and they don't know where things are, right? But I can put audio in a very specific location where the thing is, and people can follow those audio cues with spatial audio. It's actually quite magical. If you look at Microsoft research for accessibility, they have done a lot of research on it, and there are a few app videos that shows it too.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I guess we'll take one more question. As we know that every technology comes with its benefits and disadvantages, and we have talked up till now the benefits of XR and WebXR to be specific. So there was a question in the chat too, like, is there any disadvantage or you can say limitations of WebXR that will be covered in the future upcoming time? But as of now, are there any limitations which you would like to tell?
Right now, most of the headsets are expensive, right? This is one of the limitations, but it's, over time, it's going to get cheaper and cheaper, and it will be okay. But some of the things that we have to be careful is the security of the user, right? That's a huge concern for us for web, and we do definitely want to give no way of abusing the user to the developer in any way. So that's why we are working on the APIs, defining the APIs for so long. And this is a lot of companies coming together and doing this work all together. That's also one advantage of web, because there's no such thing almost for the devices itself, right? There's OpenXR. That's also one thing that try to make sure, but Oculus can do anything or HoloLens can do anything because they also have access to your camera. They are able to see your house. They're not seeing it, but they have the ability. And also some of these technologies are more open to abusing people in a way that's because they control your attention, augmented reality especially, right? You can constantly direct people to buy a certain thing or change their ideas. in a way. So that's the scary part. I actually today something happened. I didn't want to get an Oculus device because they are forcing people to sign in with Facebook account, which means that all of your personal information is related to any kind of information they might have from the Oculus device. But at the end, I was so curious, and I did get it one for my husband as a gift, and I created a fake account on Facebook with my father's name, and he died like 16 years ago. And I used an email address which I wasn't using anywhere at all. So I thought that I was careful, and I was signing in to that Facebook account on a secure Mozilla device only, nowhere else. So I thought I did everything right. But what happens with Oculus is that to set it up, it asks you to download the Oculus application on your phone. I never downloaded any Facebook. Well, I did have Instagram, but so anyways, I did download it, and then I did not give any kind of ability to store or get my information or anything like that. And then today I opened up the Facebook and I looked at my all Facebook off activity, which showed every search that I had on my device on a totally different email address, totally different browser. So it had all of them. I uninstalled it, of course. So basically, with that information, they are able to just slowly put in things to my vision, which is scary. They might have access to the information in my house because it has an outward-facing camera. That is scary. So not just limitations, but the scary part.
Yeah, like privacy has always been like scary part for any technology out there. And just about the price, I would like to mention a point. Like many smartphones, similar case was with smartphone when smartphones were introduced in like 2001 or 2003. So they also had like very huge price, and very rarely people used to buy these phones. But as people got used to these technologies, those exponential technologies, so the prices slightly started getting down, and now they are like cheap so that everyone can afford a basic smartphone. So I guess that would be the case with immersive media headsets too, I guess, but it might happen. And also, I would like to mention one more limitation with specifically to this was with HoloLens, but I guess this is with every device, which like for suppose mixed reality applications is like field of view. Like in HoloLens 1, it was really less, but in HoloLens 2, it was like almost double of that. It was like around 56 degrees, I guess. Then that might be a fake, but that it's expecting to have in HoloLens 3 an infinite field of view. But it might not be possible now, but it will be in upcoming time. But as of now, it's a limitation, not a field of view. So that's a limitation, I think. And
and also the compute power there's limitation. As any other technology, it's going to get smaller and smaller. And for something like HoloLens, we have to make sure that it is usable for long hours at work for people. 8 hours, it should be comfortable. So you can't put more stuff in it because it will be heavier. The takeaway is from maybe the compute power. So all of those things are going to improve over time.
Yeah, it just requires some time. It will be really awesome. It's still awesome. Like WebXR is really great. It gives another hand for web developers to develop, who really like to develop for any of the technologies in XR. So WebXR is really great. And thank you, Aishikul, for sharing such an insightful thought. Like as I mentioned, she's a really great personality and she's really experienced. So
Thank you.
I really liked her session, like her sessions. She has many YouTube videos online. She has taken session when she was an Autodesk, then as a Google developer expert, then currently in Microsoft in mixed reality developer days too. So make sure to check all of her sessions out there. You can just Google out and you'll just get all of her videos. And that's it. Any last word which you would like to share, Aishugul?
Thank you,
For
Farzan,
looking. Yeah.
for finding me on Instagram. Actually, this is why I'm here, and he messaged me. And thank you so much for reminding me. And I'm so happy to share the knowledge. And hope I'll see you on Learn or YouTube or anywhere else. Thanks,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
And please
Thank you.
share what you build. If you ever build something, please do share.
Yeah, please do that so that having having such great personalities, comments on that and view on that will really give you another edge to for what you're developing and maybe another idea for any improved idea for working on that. And before we end, I would just like to share my screen again, and I'd like to share something here. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Yeah, I guess you all can see my screen and you can see the feedback form.
Yes, Faizan.
Yeah, okay, great. So there's a particular reason why you need to fill this feedback form. It's not mandatory to add feedback for us, but this will mark as your attendance for the event and as an appreciation of token for all of you attending this event. E-certificates will be provided to all of you for attending this event. And yeah, so make sure to go to the link bit.ly/webexa-feedback, or you can just scan the QR code and fill in the form. It would just take less than 30 seconds, but I would encourage all of you to add something in the feedback or comments or suggestions, because it will help us to know more, like which part of the session did you like, or where are the improvements, or where we can improve, or what you thought can we do better. And it will also help us to know that which type of sessions you are more interested, to be specific, in which technology. So like WebExa was one, and DSC Mesco keeps hosting like really amazing sessions. So we can host some really great sessions in the most of the answers that we get to host. So like it can be something related to cybersecurity, something related to blockchain, or something related to mixed reality, and anything which you feel like. If we have certain number of interest attendees in that, so we can do that. So make sure to fill this feedback form. As again, I'm saying it's up to you to add something in the suggestions or comments, but it will mark as your attendance. So make sure to add your correct name and a correct email ID so that you get a certificate, and it will just take less than 30 seconds. And okay, in the meantime, you fill. Someone might share this link in the chat. Someone please share this link in the chat, bit.ly/webexa feedback, so that if anyone wants to see this later. Okay, and next is about DSC Mesco. Gaurav already introduced what exactly DSC Mesco is about. So it might happen that you are interested in connecting with us, and you might get interested in what to know more about, like what are the sessions that we host next. So make sure to make sure to connect us in all of these social media links. We also have a Discord group, so you can connect to us there. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, anywhere which you want. And if you want to know more about VRAR community, Tejas has shared the meetup link, and I will ask him to share it again, the whole meetup link thing. So just join our meetup group, stay connected to us, so that you will know about our future events. And yeah, that's it. So thank you, Aishugul, again for joining here. And it was really great to have you here, but we took much of your time. Like it might be night around at your end.
Yeah, Friday nights. And I'm so glad so many people joined on a Saturday. And thank you guys. Very nice meeting you all.
Yeah, thank you
Yes,
everyone for joining
thank
and
you
sharing
very
so much hype. And just before we end, I would like I have two things to do. I first ask Tejas, I guess I would ask Tejas to end with something last words. And I also ask Aishugul for to stay here because we will take a photograph so that all of us can switch on our webcam videos. So yeah, Tejas, just add some last words so that we can after end it after taking a photograph.
I just wanted to say thank you for Ashgul and thank you everyone for attending to this session. And I would like to especially thanks Microsoft Launch Student Ambassador, VRARMR community, and DSC MESCO for hosting this event and partnering with us. And that was a really great session. And I think the hype and the attendees' enthusiasm we are seeing right now, that is just amazing. And would love to have more session like such. And Ashgul, really thank you. Big thanks from all of us.
Thank
You
you.
inspire us.
It's a pleasure. And if you add me on LinkedIn, please do mention that we met in this meetup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the words are really very less to thank Aishugul for joining us, taking out time and joining us here because she's really part of various communities out there. So she really gets time. So it was really great of her to join here.
Thank you.